Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, November the 10th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. Charts by TrendSpider and Gamma Flows by Mentor Q. Today, we greet the trades above the 0 DTE Call Wall, 67.50. What? No, 67.75 is the 0 DTE Call Wall. We are well above that. That puts the traders who sold this call on the back foot. And we've got the deep put support at 6,700, where it has been since last week. We've got a high volume node and the 0 DTE put support, both sitting at 67.50. So very interesting. Notice only the ones who sold the puts are in the green right now. The ones who sold the calls are in, they're underwater. Now, got a cool little new instrument. It's volume by price and time, and it shows us as negative flows until about 2 o'clock on Friday. And then things shift positive. It remains positive, but still damp. Today is also the first day we've moved over the anchored VWAP since the month began, holding for any specific period of time. We did do it on November the 5th for a bit. Let's see if the same thing happens. That breakdown, the number you want to have in your hand, is the move into the call wall at 67.75. Now, for those of us, we began a day on market kickoff, and we did not have our charts running, but engineering got it up and running. I think everybody was okay within 40 minutes, and so that was good. But by then, unfortunately, my show was over. Now, so what are we looking at? We have a really big move to the upside. We've got 50-year mortgages. Holy cow. 30-year mortgages are scary enough. You know, it's my understanding that they only have 10-year mortgages in the UK. So that's very interesting. But I don't know if that's actually still true. We'll see. Anyway, $2,000 to the masses. Shutdown is coming to an end. A lot of things pushing the market in upward flow. And what I said was, hey, we've got motion that's going to give us a gap up, and that gap up is going to come very likely into the congestion box of November 5th. We are well above that, and now we are in this wide, sloppy region that actually goes all the way to the left here. Let's see if I can move that one backwards. Yeah, see, this one goes all the way to November 4, and it's my expectation that we have our first troublesome spot at the midpoint, somewhere near the anchored VWAP. So I would say that number's around 6,822, maybe 6,828. And that is what we are seeing. Point of control. Where is the POC? The POC here is 68.16. Very interesting. The VWAP for the time is 68.83. Holy smokes. That's very far above there. Momentum is up. Trend is up. Pullbacks are buy zones. The danger zones appear at the call wall for 0 DTE. If they lose 6,776, we'll see a filling of the gap and the rotation downward into the put wall. So for now, the liquidity pump is working, and folks trying to push folks into the market in a buy zone. So where do we look above? If we breach 68.22 again, chances are we ride into the top of congestion, 68.37 to 68.50. I suspect we have maybe, if seasonality holds properly, we have one more pullback over the next few days, and then we've got a ride into the seasonally very strong areas in the market. Above the VWAP, positive trend, positive momentum, positive order flow. We've got ourselves a bullish day. Newest inventory accumulation gives us a baseline. I'm going to borrow this one. Gives us a baseline of about 68.11, with the key zone really being around the VWAP. I would like to see a VWAP test, but if it does hold that, or you're figuring, hey, I'm just going to go for it, 68.10 sends us up into the next piece of the box, and then 68.50. Wow, that took kind of a long time, didn't it? Had another one of those sleep for an hour and a half nights. Okay, let's take a look at the NQ here. Very messy order flow. You're going to see a lot of boxes within boxes. The supposition was, hey, here we are. We're going to gap up. We're going to gap up into this area of the box, somewhere in here. And if we hold it, we'll go to the top of the box. And that's exactly what we did. Notice, we didn't quite get there at the first pass. There were a couple of people thinking, wow, this is a great short. And it was for a short period of time. Value area low, 25,290. These guys also price tracking above the 0 DTE call wall. That 0 DTE call wall is 25,200. The put wall is 24,750. Value area high, 26,227. Trend up to flat. Interesting. Negative flows in volume by price. But the master and commander is trend. That's right. Yes, you got it. This is an anchored VWAP from the beginning of the month. We have not crossed above it successfully and held in some time. So you're going to have to watch for that if you have TrendSpider. The Alpha Trends anchored VWAP month to date, or no, week to date, no, month to date, sorry. Month to date is going to give us this area here that looks like pretty good resistance at the first pass. That being said, if we breach, then we move to the upside. All right, and that upside pressure takes us to the point of control, 25,600, and then the anchored VWAP of November the 6th, which is 25,680. And then this inventory accumulation, inside of this broader inventory accumulation, this price action is very messy. We got to have a really sharp eye in terms of hanging on to what's going on here. Dips, obviously, buy zones in the near term. What we have to think about is we have to think about what happens to flows if we lose the ledge. And this call wall is probably going to get shifted up, right? So we'll watch for it. We know it's there, okay? The big monthly wall is up at 26,000, and the big monthly put wall is down at 24,750. All right, let's take a look at the energy. Energy is going to be very interesting, folks. Got a little bit of war machine action going on, and so put wall has moved back to 58.50. That's interesting. Oh, that's the 0 DTE. All right. The put support, 55. It's moved down for the monthly put wall. The monthly call wall is still at 61. They are expecting low prices in oil, even with all the Venezuelan shenanigans. Okay, so what we have, however, is a very wide box of accumulation. If you're into it, dips, they're still trying to buy them, right? Our trend line is holding right there. See if it pops up into the range. We have a clear selling line here. Very clear selling line at 60.50. If that breaks, we're going to hit 61 because there's just too much pressure building here as the price action moves to the north. Value area low, 59.68 or so. Value area high, 61.12. The best bets, interestingly, in this space are huge spikes that push us up or huge spikes that bring us down. They're going to have a reflexive move on either side of those. Trend, to me, appears about to flip to this upside pressure event to get to the top of the box, but it is still holding downward from the big edge above 61.50. Take a look at this, almost to the nose. This big trend is still holding, and that, suggests that this is actually a flag pattern, right? This is actually some kind of flag. So that's what we're staring down. Be careful here. Gold, oil can do all kinds of crazy things, but I do think they're looking at lower levels. Let's take a look at gold. Monster rally. Why? Because they're dumping money into the markets. Now, somebody said something to me I thought was relatively silly. That, reduced tensions because of XYZ has brought gold down. No, not buying it, right? This is all about flows in the fiat currencies. And, this, you want to print some more checks. Listen, who doesn't want an extra $2,000, right? I mean, who doesn't? It's just not the right thing, folks. We've got to learn to manage with less. This is a dumpster fire. It's just like a slow-moving train wreck. All right. That being said, today we are at 4,100. Look at where the call walls are. The long call wall for call resistance for the monthlies down here at 4,000, along with the put 0 DTEs. They're literally in the same spot. The call walls for the 0 DTEs, 4,020. Absolute madness. Monster move to the upside. Also, this is China reported some news that put them out of deflation. This is the first marker they've had that's out of deflation in a while. That's spurring growth. Growth means more whatever. And inflows into, these 50-year mortgages and 2K checks coming around. Those things are giving us the rise in gold, and it is quite the rise. Let's go off into this zone. We need to go to a daily chart to see what's happening. Notice we've had relative negative flow. Momentum has been negative literally since October 20th. It's still negative, but flattening, so it's turning around. It moves a bit slower. Trend is up. Momentum in volume by price is shifting up, but the flows are still negative, just about to hit positive. This area right here, I'm going to make one of these big lines here so we can see it on the chart. These wicks, potentially 41.60, which is about $50 away from here, into a baseline of 4,100. That's the upward flow we're staring down today. It's been a hot minute since we've had a day look completely like this early in the day. And so there is a measure of caution there, but the flows are very positive, very, very positive. The Fibonacci measuring this last heavy wave gives us this 4,111, which we targeted very nicely. And then the 4167 to 4170, next line in the sand. Pullbacks are buy zones. Trend is up. Momentum is up on the short term. We turned positive in this momentum flow at 10 o'clock Eastern time on Friday. So this is a very exciting chart here. This technical indicator, I like this a lot. We're going to figure out how we're going to use it to maximum effect later on. But pullbacks, certainly buy zones. we've got the dynamo cloud saying, if we can dip anywhere into the regions near 4,080, this, of course, being a very big inventory accumulation event, it went for many hours. That's going to give us a big understanding of what's going on with the price action, right? From right there. So, if we happen to lose 4,094, we could easily bounce off of 4,090. But if we do not, we are going to head to the bottom of that box by the time trend will take over. Notice, although we are in upward flow relative, it's still negative. So there's some tricky bits here. We have to be careful. All right. You can see the downward flow. Literally, the call wall is almost $100 away. That's, if somebody traded gold last night, which is probably what I should have been doing instead of tossing and turning, that is a monstrosity of a performance in upward intraday flow. All right, finally taking a look at SPY. Look at how beautiful this is. So, there's going to be a gap up. How do you know? You can see what's printing in, you can see where orders are waiting in that space on your depth of market. So that being said, where did it gap up to? Old congestion, right? So this line, there's a pretty solid inventory box here where sellers clearly sitting at the top of this box at 678 or so. The point of control is 678 and a quarter. Very heavy congestion here. So we've got a box within a box, which is always very annoying. But we can see those flows. Feels like that's out of the range. Yeah. We can see those flows right into this edge at $675.80. That's going to be your floor of support. And then, if that's lost, they're going to want to fill the gap, right? So this went from negative trend to positive trend because of the gap. So we have no inventory here. A lot of gappy action. Would not be surprised if we fill it in over the next couple of days. We'll just have to see what goes on. My thought is the following: as long as you stay above 675, 676, in my mind, you've got some pretty fair upside pressure where pullbacks are buy zones. Top of the range, 678, 679. Small inventory event. Well, about 4 hours. It's not really that small. Inventory event into the call wall at 680, right? Put wall well below 664. They're probably going to rotate that one up, folks. All right. Trend up to flat. Momentum up to flat. We are shifting positive with flows, but the trend is flat. So, anyways, that's it, folks. Got to be careful. A lot going on. So, you want to really watch these inventory boxes. Take a look at where they accumulate, break, and then re-enter the zone in complete reflexive action. These are tricky charts, right? You want to trade maybe, I don't know, a couple of trades, 3-4 trades a day. Don't go all mad, right? Just cool your jets and be careful, okay? Because there is a lot of inventory noise. Okay, I will see you on the streams, everybody. Take care.